This is Mastering Unreal Tournament 3, a guide to greed. Greed is one of two new game types introduced in the free Titan expansion for Unreal Tournament 3. It's got something for fans of just about any game type, and can be modified to play in a variety of ways. It plays on all existing Capture the Flag and Vehicle Capture the Flag maps, but custom greed maps can certainly be made that break the standard CTF layout. I'll explain more on that later, but first let's talk about how greed works. Instead of directly giving you points for kills, players drop skulls when they're fragged, which you should then collect. And then you've got to survive long enough to deliver them to the enemy conduit, both for personal and team points. A player will always drop at least one skull representing the value of their own life. If they've collected any skulls, they'll drop those plus their own. 5 points is represented by one golden skull, and 20 points is represented by a single large red skull. You also need to work together as a team to guard your conduit. To help you figure out who to focus on, players are given an indicator above their head. The number on this indicator represents how many skulls they're carrying. Players who haven't collected any skulls obviously won't show any number, but remember that they're still worth 1. Collect skulls at every opportunity, because otherwise your teammates, or worse yet your enemies, will get the points. Greed is a team game though, and you don't have to play for personal points. You can still affect the outcome of the game by defending or providing cover fire in order to help your teammates score. But collecting skulls actually makes you more effective against your opponents, and here's how. Every 10 skulls you collect earns you a damage amplifier, or if you have one already, it'll add time onto it. In this way, skulls become somewhat like a basic form of adrenaline, which you'll know if you've played Unreal Tournament 2004. It's kind of born out of necessity because as you become a larger threat to the other team, they're going to try harder to kill you, and you're going to need to try harder to stay alive. Good attackers should always be making their way towards the enemy conduit, while being opportunistic along the way. For all standard CTF maps, the conduit's located wherever the flag would normally be. You can see how many skulls you're carrying in the top right corner of your heads-up display. Keep it in mind, because if you're carrying a lot, you might want to try stealth rather than a head-on solo attack. But storming the enemy base with your teammates and scoring many consecutive drops is pretty satisfying too. Although Greed is made to play on existing Capture the Flag maps, it does open some new and exciting possibilities for mappers beyond the old boring symmetrical layouts. Because unlike Capture the Flag, Greed isn't about bringing something from one base to the other. It's simply about getting to the conduit wherever that may be. You could design a Greed map around a completely random layout, or one where the conduits are side by side in the center of the map, or in some difficult to reach location. You can make it resemble a domination map or an assault map. The catch is that it needs to be in the CTF game type, using flag bases, so any bizarre layouts should probably be designated Greed only in the file name. Finally, Greed gameplay can also be enhanced using the Titan's mutator. This enables you to play a very valuable defense or support role, which if properly executed can secure the win for your team. More on that in our in-depth Titans tutorial. We've just about covered the basics and the great possibilities of Greed, but we'll be going more in depth in some of our upcoming advanced gameplay lessons.